Hi, it's Wendy here, and welcome to my studio. Um, it's a mess today. I was working yesterday getting some paper because I ran out of paper. I work with acrylic paints on paper, on rag paper, acid-free paper, and I have known for a short while that my paper source has dried up. I mean, there's hundreds of different kinds of papers, but I had a good source for a short while. And now that that's gone, I found I am without. So, what I did yesterday was I took down a series of paintings on my hollow core doors, and I had nothing to replace it with until I found a roll of watercolor paper, which I cut. It was 36 inches, so I cut through it, took 6 inches off, and it's on the floor right now, kind of stretching out. Put that down there. So I am going to be tearing the paper so that it fits where I need it to go. Check that I have enough staples in my staple gun. There's nothing worse than running out of staples when you're hanging something and well, you see the video from yesterday. I had to use an arm and a hand and a knee to keep the paper where it was supposed to be. So let me just get this off the floor. What I need to do is measure 66 inches. I was not convinced that since I used some of this paper before, I was not convinced that some of it was, I mean, the end that I used was a straight edge. And, I could get out my straight edge and check that, but I'm going to go from the manufacturer, not the manufacturer, but the distributor's cut, which will likely be more accurate than what I did originally. So keep this paper, when it's been rolled up for such a long time, it can have a memory of the curl. Let's see if the weight of this is going to keep it off the table. I think so. All right. So I've got my measuring tape, and I'll get a pencil. That's what I love about paper. It moves. That's what I hate about paper. It moves. Okay, so this is a 48-inch ruler. 48 and 66. 48, 58, 68, 66, so another 18 inches from there. And that was good. The first mark was good. And on this side, 48, and then another 18 inches. Oh, okay. I did pretty good the first time. Now, I'm going to tear the paper. I like tearing paper rather than cutting it with a pair of scissors or a straight edge. Might as well draw a line since it's going to be it's going to be cut there anyways, or torn. think I can do this. It's a little unwieldy, but let's try. I'm going to take the smaller half. It's slightly more manageable than the larger half. Put my straight edge down. Now this is the tricky part. I usually do this on the floor so that I, first of all, have some weight, and second of all, you know, some leverage. So, let's see how this is going to work. You know, because when this ruler moves, and inevitably it will, maybe not. It's a good idea I drew that line, though. This is nice paper, nice thick paper. The fibers are okay, they're pretty short, but see, it's where it all goes south. So I'll come from the other side. All right, well, not the worst thing, just a little divot there. Okay, so I have the equivalent of 3 of the sheets of paper that I use. Oh, this is the short end. I'm going to staple that up. Check one thing here. Okay. There was a moment. Yesterday was not a very good day with the recording. I was on a roll. I was halfway through, and my husband walked in the door, and so I just stopped recording. It's always nice to see him, but it was in the middle of my recording. So I did a couple others, but I ran out of battery. Oh, I know what it was. I forgot to turn the microphone on. So I did. I got some good recording, but there's no audio. So that happens. All right. Now you'll wish there was no audio because this is going to sound, I'm sure, like a cannon going off. Now the dilemma that I have is, well, first of all, I was wrong at assuming the distributor had cut an even square edge at the top. First mistake. Not the end of the world, but wish I hadn't overlooked that step. Okay, so now I do not have enough for the second part, for the second panel, but I have, let's see, I have one sheet of the old paper, which is 22 inches, so I really only need 44 inches. What do they say in carpentry? Measure twice, cut once. I never took up carpentry, but it's a good rule of thumb. It worked. So now I'm not going to start on it just because I have a whole lot more stapling to do, and I just don't feel like doing it right now. I would rather paint, and then I can staple while I wait for the paint to dry. So I'm turning them over, and I'm back on the Atlas side. Staples coming out all over the place. All right, the Atlas side. What do we have here? Panama Canal, nice. Buenos Aires, Argentina, Brazil. Here we have the U.S. Pacific Coast, and this is Texas on one side and Minnesota on the other. Those are a fair distance apart. Pacific Coast, Great U.S. Plains. So, even though I have that nice fresh paper all set up and ready to go, I am going to continue painting on these surfaces. I've taken a break from painting like every day on these surfaces. I've been working on them for a few weeks. And there's sometimes what happens is that things are done. Like I'm looking at two over here. You can't see them, but I'll show them to you. And not these three boards, but I'm also looking at these. This is really how I start. You know, there's something, it's a dilemma. This is a dilemma to start and have the freshness and, you know, the color without too much overlay. I mean, there's enough paint on here. This is a painting, but, and I get to this point every painting, you know, when is it done? And I say it's done. I say it's done when I say it's done, but really, it's done when the painting says it's done. For me, I know that's really obtuse. I'm sorry, but that's exactly how I determine it. And if there's nothing more to do on the painting, it doesn't need anything, and taking something away isn't going to make it better. So I can be wrong. You know, there's that chance. But like I said on some of the other videos, there's always another painting. So is it worth the risk of losing what is already there and looking fresh and appealing to me in its composition and its colors and, you know, how I want my language of paint to appear. And so I'm gonna hold off on these. Like I said, the longer I wait, like a few days, sometimes a week, I'll just live with the painting and see. And there's a certain percentage, not the larger percentage, but there's a certain percentage that actually speak louder and louder to me that, in fact, that they're done. There's a harmony there that I can live with. I like that. So, so I'll leave those for a while. Not so much the maps. Now, the maps are fun. You know, they're fun and they're problematic. They're problematic because there's already an image on the map. It's a map. How do you improve on maps? Well, that's not my goal, not to improve, but to mediate and to transform in a way, and not necessarily in a map way. Gosh, that sounds a little abstract, but then again, it's abstract painting. So how do I integrate, my work onto a surface that already exists, that's already there, that already has information? Do I block it out? Do I let it show through? Obviously I'm going to be doing all of the above and see how it goes. So I'm going to get started. My staples here start with a white because, yes, I am going to block things out. And then there's a turquoise. I like making marks with things, with objects, with sticks and brushes and squeegees. And my hands. I've definitely done enough, using my hands as well. Come on. Need a little persuasion here. There's a kind of an amnesia that happens. So it doesn't necessarily mean that I remember what I did and how it worked the last time I did it. I get close here and I'm like, oh, I like this. I like this. All right, I'm going here. That's that. And here. Ooh, that's kind of that turquoise is kind of like an oceanic. I guess I didn't like this steel gray too much. I love how horizontal lines just kind of start to define a landscape loosely, and vertical lines, some kind of vegetation or architecture. It's surprising how well things turn out. Telling you all my secrets. Whether you agree with me or not. I think I'll just do a little bit on Kansas City. Here we come. Wow, now I'm really tempted to just put a little turquoise over here, even though I said a moment ago that I wasn't going to touch these for a while. Let's just do it. Well, that was a little turquoise, kind of at the end of the squeegee life. Not bad, though. Now it leads me to believe that those two panels on the left can handle more information. I'll have to sit with it. I'll have to wait and see. So I'm so happy that you are joining me today, and maybe other days too. I'll take you through my day-to-day as an artist, and I look forward to seeing you on the next tape. Thanks for being here.